a child, I had something very strong happened to me right when I was starting school. Is my sister died. She got killed by a train. And I went inward, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. And at the same time, I was starting school, learning how to, the ABCs and read and write. And I never caught on. I didn't want to catch on. It seems like I always dodged it of learning how to spell and read. And through the years going on, as I baked it, trying to get through school, simple words meant more to me than the big words. And I really contemplated on simple things of, what am I doing here? What is life about? They were more important to me than school. I got into high school, and it was in 12th grade, and it looked like I was going to fail English. It looked like really bad. And thank goodness it came poetry, because poetry is something that I could relate to. Something that hits the heart. And one thing that came up in that poetry class was everybody had to fill in a couple page explaining what love is. And that struck me so hard, I kept on wanting to know what love is. And it constantly hit me for years. It's not something I could pass by, that I had to find out what love is. And I found so many different types of love there is. Well, I found out later on when I started studying the philosophy of India, in Sanskrit, there's 7 different ways to say love. 7. And there's a lot more than that, really. But these are 7 basic ones that they found what love is. And so there's different types of love. And you take like the love that you have for your dog is definitely going to be different than the one you have for your wife. At least your wife hopes so. And this type of love, I remember when I was a child, 5 or 6 of us kids would go out, and we go at neighbor's house, and we sneak out and we steal these yellow apples, you know, and sit on the curb and eat it with a little salt and sugar. And we eat this, and this was love. We enjoyed it. And it sounded funny, but I stole the apple and enjoyed it. And so there is this different types of love there is, you know. The love we have for each other is going to be so different than when we are going to church and finding this here serene peace inside of us. This is a different kind of love. So I start relating to love as more a closeness and farness from it. So you have love from a far, far distance. It's like getting very little light, where you're not right on top of the light, but you're far away from the light in a dim corner in this world, and you're getting very little light. The same with love. And people that are so caught up in their me, who am I, what I want, and if I can get my happiness by more stuff I got, the happier I am, and I'm in love, see? And that there's a very dim love they have in. And then there's this love that when people learn to give to, first of all, maybe the ones that are close to them. And now that's the love too. And then there's this love that you start giving to everybody that you can think of, anybody that comes in your circle. That's a different kind of love. So we have these different types of love. And like I said, it's like getting close to a light. Or I say the sun is, of course, the closer you get to the sun, the warmer it is. And the further away from the sun, the cooler it is. So we have this coolness effect on when we get very far from love, and we're living in a kind of a darkness that we don't see very clearly because there's no love there. There's very little love. It's coming through, but our way we use love is different. So what would be the very highest love, I ask myself? What would be, if I'm going to really name the highest love there would be not the love that I love for God, but the God-given love to all. That'd be the highest love. For He is all. He is a formless form. He is absolute in every direction. It has to be His love that is the greatest thing. So what we want to do is get close to that, how we can get to it, you know, get close to that love. Where is that love? And so we relate to maybe the outside, and we go out and see if we can love each other people. We see if we can love objects and be not judgmental on things. But it seems like it's very hard. It's not having a relationship with love. It has to come somewhere else yet. And it's the mind trying to love. And the mind is caught into a duality direction. In other words, we look at hate as on the opposite side of love. And can there be an opposite side of God? There cannot be an opposite side of God. So we're falling short yet by thinking we can love by the mind. It has to come from something deeper, more strong, more profound than anything else. So where do we find this love? It has to merge into this self, who we are. And this self that we relate to, as we relate to, it is I that went to the store, and this is the body, this is us. And you find out that everybody has this name I. It carries with us wherever we go. And we have a substitute name, Mary Jo Pete, but we have this I that carries with us. It's everywhere. But we don't know who the I is. We have no idea until we find where the core of it is. And that core has to be inside of us. That is the basics of it. It's inside of us. So we have to find a quiet place in our life. A place that is away from the external direction and start going in direction. That's called meditation. Now you can see what I'm getting to. Meditation. Meditation takes us into this core who we are. But the problem is, yet, when we work on this meditation, we have the mind thinking all these different directions that go into the meditation. It's like using the mind to stop the mind. Can it be done? You know? Can the mind say there is nothing? Does the mind say there is an absolute? The mind can't. The mind, as long as it's caught into this condition, and the condition is relating to this dual force that's in life, we have to find a way to go into the very depth to ourselves where there is no mind. Now there is a mind, but we call it no mind. It's this direction when we have this point where we turn off this and we open this. Like you've seen pictures of Jesus. It's so interesting, the picture of Jesus always has have this heart, and there's what's coming out of it? Light. It's that light that I'm talking about. That light is like the most brightest thing there is this God light, and that is shining forever. It doesn't have no beginning or anything. It's always on. And so here in the heart, if we could start reaching that point of light, where it is at. In India, they have a custom. It's really interesting. They have what they call arti. And what they do in this arti, every time they get together in a group, they end it with an arti. And this arti is lighting a lamp or a candle or some type of light. And the light represents this divine light that we're talking about. And these here certain people, people are like skins, many skins going over them of personalities. You know, we're so filled with this here conditioning that we have covered our eyes up. We can't see. We're walking around blind, not seeing this divine light. So we want the blinds off. But some people have reached this stage where they have pulled off almost all of them or all of them off totally. I look at my guru that way. He has took them all off. And all I can see in it is that light. You might see it in Jesus or Buddha or whatever, but there's this light that exists, and they're showing this light to all of us. So when the Hindus do this direction, they take this light and they move it around, recognizing the light that is coming off of that soul, see? And then what they do when they're done, they pass and give the light to everybody, for they'll all get the light. We all have the light, and so it opens up the light that we have. We start seeing the light. Isn't that a beautiful custom? Yeah. So it's nice. Here you have a candle going. You have a light here showing, you know. Why do you light the candle? It's that divine light. There's a remembrance that this light exists in each one of us. And not only in each one of us, But everything comes to the oneness. And where is the oneness? We say it again, this oneness doesn't have no beginning. It can't have a second. So it is everywhere, not only outside, but inside. It's both sides. It cannot be thought of by the mind. It is. The religion of isness. So it is right here. So we want to find time in our life. It is so important to take some time in your life, everyday life, and make it and dedicate it to the direction of going towards the light, to meditate, to go inward. This is very important, especially nowadays, as we are consumers of junk, of stuff. What I'm saying is that you go into somebody's garage and you see, what do you find? Yeah. and we have this garage, see? And it's really filling up. And we are filling it up with so much stuff. It's amazing that we are now into a direction of multitasking. Everybody knows the word, right? And even 2-year-olds are learning multitasking. Now I ask you, there's some of you people here, 20 years ago, have you heard the word multitasking? Were you using it? You were using it, but you didn't really pay attention to it too much. But now everybody is doing it, you know? And so we're more and more stretching out into this multitasking constantly. We are stretching out all these thoughts and trying to get more thoughts into our head. We want more. We think more is better. So we are building out and building out and building out. And we're trying to keep track of all this stuff. What happens to us? We find stress in our life. We're finding out we're not seeing the light. We're not putting that focus on the light. We're losing contact of the light. And we think that we're happy, but there's always some kind of a snag in that happiness. Always. So we have to get back to what we are, who we are. We all are that light. We are the same light that Jesus and Buddha and everybody else has had. It's always been here. This divine love is here. But we have to start searching into the right direction to become that lighter self, to peel off the skins of the onion, as I say, and to recognize this light. And when you start your individual self working on this very strong, other people pick up on this. Everybody is starting to recognize this love that's in your heart. It's just automatically. And what happens to you is just compassion grows. Compassion towards the oneness. And where is the oneness? It's here, here, there, everywhere. I can't get away from that. That light is here. I want to feed it. Feed it to make the fire bigger, you know, that light grow. And so what happens is you want to give. And you give. And you seem like your cup is always being filled to giving. It never stops. See, this keeps on filling and filling. It's kind of neat, you know, and you have a full cup all the time. But as you sit there and think about it, it seems like you can't fill up that cup. It seems like the mind gets in the way. We got to let go of the mind. We got to be our own self. We got to let the light in. We got to let pure love come in. And then we grow. I say in, out. We're all that love, right? And that's what we want to recognize. That self, that love, that truth we are. I'm going to end it right there. I think I said a lot. And if there's any questions, I'd gladly take a question on it. Oh, that hand went too fast. I don't know. Yes.
It's kind of left field question, not immediately